The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
TBS, America's #1 independent television network, presents the following sports exclusive.
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And check out every episode of the show at basicallysports.tumblr.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg, Mike.
And this is Andy, and you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
And let's do this. Three of us are here. We're waiting on Mike. And welcome to the second to last interesting show until next fall.
Wow, that's pretty damning.
So you just killing our summer content? What's
I'm just joking. I was just thinking about that today. I'm like, well, we'll have hockey, but that's not going to really get interesting for another month or so.
What are you talking about? We got do we have
we have Winter Olympics.
Winter Olympics starting. Where I don't know if you saw the Big Air facility, which is for skiing and snowboarding, big jump. You do one big trick. Normally, that's an event that's held in the mountains, but in recent years, it's become more of a commercial thing where you can kind of prop up these ramps wherever you want. They did one at Fenway Park a few years ago. The one in China is to promote their sustainability efforts there in China, of course.
Them being the environmental leaders that they are.
Yes, of course. It's on the site of an abandoned steel mill.
Okay.
So what the angle it looks like the nuclear cooling towers of like Springfield behind this giant ramp of artificial snow.
I was watching some skiing yesterday, and they showed this wide shot of the mountains that they're skiing in. Mm-hmm. Holy God, are they up there high? I mean, how do they breathe? It was like
they've actually
feet above sea level. They need oxygen masks or something.
They've actually had problems because there was a girl in the snowboarding that I was following because she's from our town, and they were having problems because it was so damn cold. Like it's not normally as cold as it is. Like it was -4 the other day up there in the mountains.
Oh my God.
And I guess the other thing that I've been seeing headlines for, there wasn't enough normal snowfall, so they've relied almost entirely on artificial snow for all the snow mountain venues. And it's it doesn't seem like it's affecting the athletes at all, but it's just a interesting thing.
I just looked at it. I mean, because from the wide shot, it looks like the paths are only a couple feet wide. Now, obviously, they're way bigger than that. But from that angle, I thought, God, you go through a guardrail there, and you're going to roll for 10,000 feet before you stop. And it never occurred to me, but I guess if you're going to do mountain skiing, you've got to be in the mountains. And I just went, wow, that's way up there. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, the thing too is that it's 60 miles from Beijing, I think.
Yeah,
which I think somebody said it's the farthest the mountain venue's ever been from the host city. So
I don't know if that's probably right, but I always had the idea that they were not right in town or anything because it would be kind of hard to do it that way. But
but you would at least like to see in like when you're doing the aerial shots of the city or something, that there was a mountain in the background, like like Denver or something like that.
Right.
But
yeah, I haven't watched too much. I don't, that now that we're sending our pretty good hockey players over there, and this is the best of the rest, gang. Here you go, have fun. So I haven't really been paying too close of attention to it, but
well, it's hard to because this is now the third straight Asian-based Olympics, so the times are so hard to like watch anything.
Yeah, what are they, like 8 hours ahead of us, something like that?
13 hours ahead from the East Coast.
Wow. Okay.
16 hours ahead from here. So like the snowboarding that I had to watch, it started at 9:30 a.m. Beijing time, and it would be on at 5:30 Pacific time. Evening.
Wow.
So like there's some stuff that we can watch here on the West Coast in prime time, but like most of it is overnight, and maybe some of the East Coasters can, if you're an early riser, you can catch the end of some of these events. But it's just it's tough, and it's unfortunate that that's the way things went. That we have the 3 Asian games in a row that kind of make it tough. And the other thing, I don't know if there's as much hype for this one because of the China of it all, for one, and two, we just had an Olympics last year.
Yeah, I was just
that we
gonna say
dealt
that.
with all the problems, so it's tough to get the same hype.
Well, let's see here. Question. Go ahead, Andy. We'll just leave the question up. We'll answer it when we're damn good and right.
I would say I was going to bring up that the fatigue of just having it last year, but as far as the women's hockey that Chaos Blast brings up, I was intrigued to watch a little bit of that. I watched some curling. I don't necessarily care so much about any country's individual success so much as I just kind of watch the event and hope it entertains me. And curling, I know that you guys have been infinitely more into curling than I have ever been historically, but it was interesting. I did some research, learned a few things about curling I never knew, just like pebbled ice and things like that. But I still have no idea how the scoring works. And
neither do I. I just like watching them throw the rock down.
It's not that. I don't think it's that hard. So what it is basically how the whoever has the innermost position on the circle.
Okay,
they're the ones that get the point, and so then it depends on how many of your rocks you have inside of somebody else's. So normally it's just one because everybody's shooting for the same dot. But if you play your cards right, sometimes you can get 3 stones inside of the next nearest stone from the other team, and then you can get 3 points.
Okay.
And then I think there's 10 ends, which are like innings in a baseball game.
I thought I heard
you flip back and forth.
What was I high, or did I actually hear? And this wasn't this year, but like at one point I could have swore when I was watching curling in an off Olympic year, which just shows you, I don't know, that there was nothing on TV that night, I guess, but I could swear they referred to it as an inning once, but maybe they were just using the reference that you just made, Zach, like it's like an inning.
I think they're just called ends.
Yeah. I don't know. I get, it's a kind of real Zen-like quality to it, where you just kind of, it's just a cool sport to groove on. You don't have to really know what's going on to enjoy it. It's just fun to watch.
Yeah,
to me at least.
No, I've enjoyed it. But as to Chaos Blast's actual question about, because I think what he's referencing, there was somebody wrote an opinion piece, I think it was in Canada, saying that women's hockey doesn't belong in the Olympics.
Okay, why?
Because the United States and Canada blow everybody out all the time, and that there's no real hope for anybody else. But every sport has to start somewhere with that. I mean, we've started there with basketball too, or even women's soccer. That,
but wouldn't you make the same? Could you have made the same argument in the 60s and 70s and 80s even that the Soviet Union had no business being there then?
And eventually teams got better or the other team got worse. And for example, since women's hockey was introduced in 98, there have been 6 different countries to play for the bronze medal. So it's not like nobody's around. And not to mention, the United States did lose a semifinal one of these years. I think it's fine. It just kind of is what it is. And it's no different than some other sports. Like somebody I saw brought up the counter example too would be, okay, well then let's ban table tennis from the Olympics. Yeah. Because every single time, every gold medal in ping pong has been won by a Chinese athlete. So it's all right, well, then get rid of that.
Except that one time Forrest Gump won. But other than that, yeah.
Right.
American hero, Forrest Gump, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's fine. The other countries just below them are getting better. Though I don't know if they'll ever get to Canada, US better, because it's just a matter of desire of the national programs to do so, and money and things like that, and culture, really.
Yeah,
but
the Chinese are once again expected to take home all the medals in killing Uyghurs.
Yeah, that too. Except for the one that lit the torch. Don't forget about him.
The one they threw they threw him in and burned him alive.
Well, in that vein, props to NBC for actually, during the opening ceremonies, I didn't watch it, but they called out, they didn't ignore it. They brought up the Uyghur stuff. They brought up the human rights violations. They didn't just kind of like glaze it. Oh, it's so great to have China hosting these games. No. They didn't stray away from it at all. And props to them for at least saying it. It's probably easier when most of the broadcast teams are actually in Connecticut rather than in China. So who knows how that would have played out if they were there. But
we don't treat the Uyghurs badly. Watch, we're going to throw this one in to start the Olympic Flames. See?
It's just drenched in kerosene. Instead of like carrying the torch like through like a crowd, he's like on fire, running and screaming.
It's like an army whatever unit like lights him on fire as he runs by.
Yeah, well.
Oh well.
I mean, it's Zach posted a link in our private chat to kind of what it looks like for the big air thing. It's very appropriate because it's like this goofy looking big ramp thing next to like a dystopian future full of like desolated, colorless environs. It looks
but
like
they put the logo on one of the cooling towers, so it's okay.
No, I didn't see that. Hold on a minute here.
I'll give them credit because in reading about the the repurposing of all those old factories and stuff, they actually they're not. It's not just abandoned infrastructure. Like they've integrated it into something. I thought they made it more like living quarters and. Well, yeah, it was actually really nice.
Yeah, and also too, guys. Like, I don't know if you know this, but the cooling towers. I mean, I know that most people see those and think nuclear power, but that's not always. I mean, sometimes they're cleaner energy, like coal.
That, like I said, that's a steel mill that they built that on. Yeah, but it's still just weird.
It's kind of funny, but
and I read up on it, and the reason that steel mill closed was China was trying to lower the pollution levels before the 2008 Summer Olympics.
Yeah.
And, we'll see how that's played out.
I was just going to say they ran out of Uyghurs to fuel the place with.
Okay. It's now a Uyghur ashes processing plant for them to filter out any, useful remains to.
Hey, there's nothing funny about this except.
No, it's just one of those things. It's sort of like I hate to say it, but it's the Olympics were held in Nazi Germany too. I mean it's you can't always go to the best most illuminated places in the world. Sometimes you gotta go to these places.
The difference is the Olympics wasn't like the money maker or the materialistic thing that it kind of is now.
True,
it's not the business it is now, and it's like we could have. I don't know. I don't know if you could boycott it too because of that. Because again, you have all these athletes. They're professionals. They literally train their entire lives to do this.
Well, and I've seen
denied them that opportunity. It would be like,
I've seen a lot of people like going, I won't watch these Olympics because of China. It's like, I think the ship has sailed on China, guys. I don't know how much of stuff in each one of our homes is made in China, but I'm betting it's a lot. So if you're going to go that route,
everything in this house is American made.
Well, I mean, I'm doing the show on a Mac, on a AirBook or whatever it's called, a MacBook. Yep. So that was made in China. My iPhone sitting to my right, made in China. I'm sure the microphone I'm talking into was probably made in China, the board. So I'm not going to get on my high horse here and go, I'm not, I mean, whatever, do what you want.
I got to say, I was surprised. I unrelatedly, when I was putting on my pants this morning, I noticed the tag in my jeans so that they were made in Lesotho, which I thought was odd.
Wow. You know, that's funny with clothes. You get some of those places you go, I didn't even know this place existed. And here they are making my Harley t-shirt. Cool. Anyway, it's so I'm not going to get my high horse. I mean, China's not the greatest place, but like Andy said, they had the Olympics in fucking Nazi Germany and no one seemed to have a problem with it back then.
Well, I mean, there were some people that had a problem.
Well, you know what I mean. But I mean, it still happened, and I'll just point out that Ohio State alum Jesse Owens went over there and shoved it straight up Hitler's ass, which was pretty cool.
Well, Hitler, to be fair, Hitler doesn't remember that he was like strung out on meth the entire time. God. Like, have you seen the footage of him just shaking back and forth, just riled up on crank? Like he's absolutely anyway. But the thing is with China, the irony is that like I guess the hypocrisy is just the money, like for all these human rights things and the Uyghurs and whatnot. everyone can feign outrage and stuff, and then they're like, "Oh my goodness, that's horrible. We would still like to sponsor the Olympics and get all the money because your economy is doing so well."
Well, and the world economy and really, geopolitics, all of it's pretty complicated. So it's kind of tough to take a singular position. I mean, I get it, and believe me, I don't like what they're doing to the Uyghurs either. I'm not trying to justify anything that China does. But I don't know that me not watching the Olympics is going to make one bit of fucking difference.
No, hell no.
You don't watch. You know what I mean? So it's a very complicated thing that got multiple layers, and you're always going to find, if you try shit like that, you're going to come out as a hypocrite at some point or another. So just get used to the idea. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be offended by anything more of these Olympics, you should be offended by the continued inclusion of the Russian Olympic Committee, quote unquote. Did you hear what happened with the women's hockey game between Russia and Canada over last night?
No,
I don't think so.
In warm-ups, it was it was discovered that one of the Russian players had gotten a positive COVID test. So the IOC, instead of just postponing the game, said, "Okay, everybody in the ice, you now have to wear masks."
They threw in the torch with the Uyghurs. Sorry.
Yeah. And so for the first two periods, both teams wore masks. Canada was up like 4-1 or 5-1 and something like that. Come out for the third period, Canada still wearing their masks. Russia decides, fuck it, we're losing anyway, so they take off their masks. Let's see how that plays out in the next couple of days. But I thought that was
here's
interesting turn.
And here's the thing too. I mean, I don't know when they found out she was positive.
During warm-ups.
Okay, so they had all been together at that point anyway. So I guess my question is, okay, at that point you're all fucking infected or you're not. So what's the point? But whatever. Mike's here.
Yo.
Hey.
Sorry about that. I had very weird internet problems, but seems sorted.
It was the Chinese government taking it out on you, all the shit that we were saying about them while we were waiting for you, I think.
Oh, fuck the Chinese government, man. Fuck them.
You missed the best part of the show so far, where Andy said that they used they set a Uyghur on fire and threw him into the torch to light the Olympic flame, which was pretty
Jesus.
Yeah, we're
Jesus
kind of
Christ.
We're kind of talking now about Zach brought up the Russian women's hockey team failing to wear masks for the third period of a blowout loss to Canada.
What did they do about that? Did they do anything? Or did they
not yet?
Oh, well, I mean, so the game's over and they played without the masks.
Yeah, they played the third period without the mask.
Yeah. Did that help?
I have not watched a single second of the Olympics. So
are you staging a protest, Mike? I hope not, because I just made fun of you in the worst way, and not you literally, but you figuratively.
Oh, no, actually, I just don't care for the Chinese government, so fuck it. I'm not going to watch.
Neither does anybody else. That we agree on.
I just, I mean, it's a combination of two things. It's a combination of I don't like the Chinese government, and also, like, look, I love my curling, all right? I love my curling. I love my hockey. But you take NHL players out of it, and my give a fuck gets really hard to get going.
Well, the NHL players aren't curling, Mike. You can still watch the curling.
And Mike,
I can still watch the curling, but I don't know, like the centerpiece of my.
They've only started with the mixed doubles curling, so it's a little. It's not the
mix. Okay, so the idea that there's men's and women's curling is the funniest shit in the world to me, because if there's one sport where the differences between men and women matters the least, it's curling.
I guess in theory the men can. In theory, the men can sweep harder.
Yeah, but Zach, the women all grew up sweeping brooms.
I was gonna say.
Oh my god!
According to stereotypical gender roles, they should.
Oh my god! Hashtag cancel Greg.
Greg is aiming for a cancellation today. I don't know.
If I'm going to go after the Chinese government, I might as well just go all in and go after everything, right?
We got Joe Rogan over here getting us pulled from everything.
Look, guys, the joke was just hanging there. We couldn't just let it sit there. Somebody had to do it. I'll fall on the grenade on this one, okay? Anyway, I was going to say, Mike, you're not happy that we're sending the the pretty good hockey players that we have over to the Olympics. Not the best and the brightest, just these guys are pretty good. They'll be all right.
I'm excited that one of the Canadians going over is Josh Ho-Sang. Who
is he? Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't see that one.
He's going. He is an interesting fellow. He's Jewish, but his ancestry is Chilean Jewish, Jamaican, and Hong Kong Chinese.
That should be a record, right?
The guy should open a food truck, is what he's calling.
He's also famous in the NHL, at least
Gets me off the hook with that joke. Okay.
He's famous in the NHL for trying to wear the number 66 when it's,
Oh.
He wanted to wear the number 66, and some people lost their shit because that was Mario Lemieux's number. And
even though
retired, though,
it's not retired.
The Pirates, the Penguins, right?
Pirates.
Yeah. He was playing for the Islanders, and people were like,
no one understands. The Pirates retired as number 2. We don't know why, but they did.
Yeah, but no, he did for the Islanders, and as Zach said, some people reacted not great.
Dennis brings up a good point here. Then this would be for Zach because he seems to be following this more closely than we are. But what about this, Zach?
I don't believe the Ukrainians qualified.
I can't tell you the single time I've ever heard of a Ukrainian hockey team. You'd think they'd be good. They're next to Russia, but
no. But back in the day when the Soviet Union was what it was, they stole all the good hockey players, right?
Mm-hmm.
They took them from the other countries and brought them to their own.
Mm.
Let me see. Who we got?
Explains why. I don't know. I'm done. I think I want to just stop making jokes with the Broom joke and move along.
No Ukraine. Canada, U.S., the ROC, of course, not actually Russia. Switzerland, Finland, Japan, Czech Republic, China.
What was that?
Denmark.
When we did the NHL World Cup thing or whatever they called it over here, remember there was the the 25 and under.
There was the North American 24 and under, and then there was the Team Europe, yes,
aka the etc.
Yeah.
And then the
Europe that's not Russia.
And this is the everybody else's. Speaking of everybody else's, and this is going to be a weird segue, but we've really got to get to the Washington Comrades before we forget.
Oh,
yeah.
I almost forgot.
I think that we have kind of sat on this for half an hour or so with or without Mike. Just kind of says it all. There's not what else? I mean, what else is there to say? It sucks. Go ahead, Mike.
I have words.
It's boring and it sucks.
I have words, and that is to say that this might be, and I want to preface this by saying I know I've said some very strong things about some very bad uniforms on this show, but this might be the single most bungled rebrand I think I've ever seen from a professional team.
No argument here.
There's not a single element of this thing that I like. The best I can say is that I don't mind the name. I think it's fine. I think the name is fine.
I like the Paper Snake W.
Yeah, me too.
Well, see, here's the thing about the Paper Snake W is that in a vacuum, I think it's good. But this is a team that's 90 years old. I feel like if they're going to go for a monogram logo, they should go for something a bit more classic. I don't know.
The roundel isn't too bad.
Oh, it wants to be the Ravens shield.
It wants to be something better, but it's not so bad.
They got the years they won the Super Bowl wrong on it. I mean, how you manage that?
Not wrong. Just
wrong. I identify
with this. This is something I personally have always had a trouble with. When I name teams, I don't do I say the 2007 Colts when I talk about the team that won the Super Bowl?
No, 2006.
See, that's weird to me because they played the entire playoffs.
Yeah, but
they played the entire playoffs and Super Bowl. They were a month into the next year when they won.
But it was an extension of the 2006 season, which is
it's when the season starts.
We're going to do this.
See, this is why hockey has the superior system where they just say where it's just the season is the year or the 2 years.
Right. If I said the 06 Ducks, I would be wrong because they won in 07.
So, but it's the 06-07 Ducks.
Yeah, they played in both years, and I granted the
We
Colts
played football in both years. We play week 18 in the next
all
year
that,
now.
but it has been an established. I'd even call it canon in the NFL at this point that the season that you're playing in is the one that you win the Super Bowl for.
So Zach, you would call them.
What they should have done is put the Super Bowl numbers right instead of the year.
Well, because that'll help. Like make things less confusing when you see like Super Bowl XX.
Well, okay, Roman numerals are better than all other forms of numbers, but that's
as long as you know what they fucking say.
But oh god, I remember growing up when I was like a little kid and just learning how to tell time, and you know they give you just a clock with regular numbers on it. That's how they teach you. And then like seeing a clock with Roman numerals completely threw me through a loop because it's like I just learned how to do this shit. Now you're replacing the numbers with like X's and I's and V. Like, come on, guys. But
I have a question for you, Zach.
Yeah.
First college football playoff. Did Ohio State win? Which year did they win the championship? Without looking it up, just off the top of your head, what year was it?
I would have said the year that the actual championship game took place.
No, they haven't. They played one game at that point. How can you be the champions after one game?
Hold on, let me look something up.
It was 2014.
Yeah, by the logic of Zach, it would be the 86 Bears, and that just doesn't work for me.
No. For that reason alone, it can't ever happen. It's got to be the 85 Bears.
Because 85 and the Chicago Bears just go together so well.
It does. I don't
know. Like just saying the terms together. 1985 Chicago Bears makes me want to go out
because 86 belongs to the Browns, and we fucked up and lost on the drive. 86 is ours. So
to answer your question, Greg, the national championship game that was played for this college football season is called the 2022 College Football Playoff National Championship.
Well, that's a bunch of bullshit, and we all know it.
That's just what it's called. They played it in the year 2022.
Well, okay.
If you go to Ohio State's website, it's going to say 2014 national champions, 2002 national champions, despite the fact that they won in 2003 and in 2015. They won the games that claim those championships.
Hold on, guys. We're deep in the weeds here with semantics. Like, none of this matters. Let's. This is like the.
Let's go back to laughing at the Washington comrades.
It's another point that we don't actually want to talk about these stupid uniforms.
Right. I mean, it's just, we're getting away from the fact that like they totally fucked this up.
I want to talk about these uniforms because these are hilariously bad. I put together something in a half an hour after work. And not to toot my own horn, I'm not a pro designer, but I thought I did I think I did better than these schmucks.
Yeah, how long did that take you, Mike, to do that?
Probably half an hour, 45 minutes from sitting down at my computer to posting it.
Half an hour to 45 minutes, and you completely obliterated 2 years of fucking research and circle jerks that those assholes did at Nike. It was amazing.
So part of the issue with the whole Commanders thing was that they, I guess, reading about how they came up with it, they like informally agreed upon the name like last August or something. Like it was just, Commanders, that's it. That's just it. But who is it? The Chase Young, I think, or what's the name of their defensive end? He was being surveyed for names that he liked or names that he didn't like, potential new names. And the Commanders was suggested. He gave it an F. And so naturally, they decided to go with Commanders. And now he's got to like pose and posture and all this stupid uniform.
Wearing commander shit.
I just don't, because like Guardians is the natural comparison. Like a major overhaul related to racism, things of that nature, and the Guardians thing it was divisive. And we actually had a really it got heated sometimes and agreements and disagreements. But like this conversion to the Commanders is so amateur and
it's exactly what you. The funniest thing I saw out of Washington fans were like, sigh, why did I expect anything else out of this team?
Resignation. A lot of resignation. My boss is a diehard Washington, formerly Redskins, and that's the team he grew up with, and that's the team he rooted for forever. And like I'm talking to him this whole thing, like I'm so sorry that's the best that Dan Snyder and company could give you is this look, and he just kind of doesn't talk about it.
He just shakes his head and walks away sullenly.
But speaking of the old team name, how Washington football was it that the name unveiling video for the thing that's like we're changing the name because we determine it's a racial slur.
And the
Great,
first thing
good.
you hear is,
Everybody agree? Great, good. Okay, well,
Here's
let's
Halo
make this video
Redskins.
package. There's like 30 seconds of people saying the word before they unveil the new uniform.
It's exactly
What
like
are you
when they first
doing?
they were dropping it, and they had like what was it, 7 Redskins references in the
It's
fucking
the same
letter.
thing. It's the same thing. It's so bad. What a piss poor franchise. My God.
This
You know,
really bad.
and this is like we're not even getting into the uniforms. We're just talking
Oh,
about
the uniform, because the uniforms suck.
They're so bad.
Well, okay, Andy, you mentioned the Guardians, and there's another team actually I wanted to mention in the same vein. The Edmonton Eskimos rebranded as the Edmonton Elks.
Well, that was so like I feel like it was so effortless to go to the Elks.
Very seamless. Yeah.
I would say, but you look at what they did with the Elks. They did it in half the time with a fraction of the budget, and it's so much better.
Yeah,
Man. Well, how can we diagnose? I mean, what went wrong? Because clearly, like I posted it in the thread that Dan Snyder's wife was part of this because she's like a fashion designer or something. She was part of it.
Oh, sure. Of course she is. Of course
Nike gave them like 4 different concepts. They went with all of them. And
does that explain why all 3 jerseys don't match?
There's just no cohesiveness.
Yes.
Yes, exactly, Greg. So I that's the thing with at least with the Guardians, it was cohesive. You could tell it was sort of like a connective tissue to their future identity.
The thing I like about the Guardians, and this actually does apply to the Elks as well, is that like there is so much of the old identity left that like we've talked about this before, that like a lot of these name changes can be divisive because you want to respect the indigenous communities whose these names have affected, but at the same time you do have generations of fans who grew up rooting for these teams, and you don't want to just completely alienate them. So when you do something like the Guardians did, or like the Elks did, where you introduce new names and new logos, but it's still all grounded in the same color scheme and uniforms and general look.
If you squint, it looks like the same team.
And it's like, yeah, that is the way to do it. It's not exciting. As Andy said, you could probably call it effortless, but in the grand scheme of things, it's probably the right way to go because it gets people on board with this new look really quickly.
Yeah.
And
it's a bit of a compromise in terms of design because nobody's ultimately overjoyed with it, but everyone can kind of find a little.
Well, yeah, and you use this compromise, you use this thing for like 5 years or so. Everyone kind of gets used to the new name, and then if you want to try something new and experiment with it, you can do that. But like this whole thing was so half-assed. The story that they approached the Snyders with like 4 designs, and they went with all of them, explains everything about why this is so bad. But there's really no place to start because everything about it is just it's awful.
It sucks. It sucks.
The one place I'll start here is that, and the team flat out like admitted this, is that they replaced gold on the white uniforms with black to justify a black alternate.
Yeah.
Like flat out said, because apparently the NFL has a rule that says that your alternate jersey has to use a color that's present on your home and road.
Really?
Yep. You can't just introduce a new color for a third jersey. It has to be present on the existing uniforms. And obviously the Washington football team, the Commanders, whatever you want to call them, had they have their standard home and road look, which is white, burgundy, and gold. And they didn't know, and there's no black on there. So the team flat out said that they replaced gold on the road whites with black so they could justify having a black alternate.
Well, that's
terrible.
That's just terrible. I say what I said on the boards and what I said back when the Falcons fucked their uniforms all to hell. You had a 2-inch putt. You took out the driver and hit it 350 yards into a fucking water hazard on a different hole. That's how bad you did with this Nike.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrible. It's just horrible.
Like, legitimately, if they had just taken the old Redskins uniforms, the ones that they had repurposed as the Washington Football Club uniforms, just take those uniforms, you know, put the W on the side of the helmet and call it a day, you're done. Boom.
Even, you know what else they could have done too, Mike? They could have taken that stupid fucking roundel and stuck it on the side of the helmet.
Yeah, or that, yeah.
Yeah, anything. It just, first off, how y'all liking 32s now all of a sudden, huh?
Yeah, that's right. We're looking pretty good, aren't we?
It's a horrible. It was botched. But my argument, why first off, we all know they never wanted to do this in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And then, look, my girlfriend, she knows more about sports uniforms than most girlfriends do. I'll give her that. But when it comes time to design a uniform, she's not going to be the first call I make. You know, but then again, I'm not calling Nike either. But the point is that we've seen you do it in 45 minutes. And, you know, back when the concept section on the boards was actually worth going to, you would see guys come up with stuff that was, I think, absolutely NFL quality, and it would take them a day. Mm-hmm. My question is goes back to the same thing. What the fuck are they working on for 2 years? I mean, I don't get it. And then you come up with this?
It took them 2 years to decide to do dot matrix.
Yeah. And whatever. It's
not only dot matrix, but the funniest shit is when they go on in their press conference and they go like, the gradient on the road numbers is a first in the NFL. It's like, the Rams did it last year, you idiots.
Well, here, while we're on the topic, I have the Nike speak for the story of the uniforms here.
Oh my god! You know what? I've said it before. That's my dream job. Is to be the person who writes the Nike speak, because I think like that's, talk about a creative writing outlet.
Yeah. So as a way to kind of talk through these, because we're kind of like generalizing, we're going to go uniform by uniform because there's a lot of bullet points for the story of each of these uniforms. We're going to start with the home burgundy, okay? Tells the story of our history and legacy as one of the NFL's first franchises. Fresh perspective on a classic design. The home uniform will retain burgundy and gold colors, a specific reference to the uniforms of the past. Stripes on the sleeves are a tribute to the legacy stripe on the Super Bowl winning team uniform sleeve of the 80s and 90s, the DC flag, and the military concept of earning one stripe.
Well, wait a minute. So basically, they just said, so we put some stripes on it because the old ones also had stripes.
Yeah, and then
but it's also the DC flag, and it's also the military earning your stripes.
Go fuck yourself.
And it's also again, note that the home uniform will retain the burgundy and gold, a specific reference to the uniforms of the past, aka we use team colors.
Yeah.
Yes. Novel concept.
Stars on the inside of the collar are a nod to the DC flag. The number style with its line break / indents in the numbers is an assertive stencil font that alludes to the stylized military fonts.
So this isn't just stencil, it's assertive stencil. That's good to know.
Perforated diamond texture inside the numbers is a nod to the diamond shape of DC's district boundary.
Oh, go fuck yourselves, every one of you, all of you.
I think and then my favorite line, this is the last one. Crest is on the back of the uniform above the name.
Good job.
I feel like
let's talk about the burgundy ones with the bold ass commanders inside of two giant thick lines on the front of this jersey.
The flag references are for the public to that is who's going to, the taxes will actually pay for the next stadium, and they just want them to be prepared for that,
represented, right?
Yeah.
No taxation without representation. So there you go. You're on the jersey. I thought the which jersey is it? The black one that has the
black one actually has the flag. Yeah.
Yeah. Are those the actual flag colors? Because I saw that and I thought, well, that's South Vietnam's flag, right?
No. The actual flag is white and red.
Yeah. Like so the gold and red one was the one that I said, look, this is our tribute to South Vietnam and the commanders that led our boys into combat, and one of America's greatest military achievements, which is complete bullshit, obviously. But
I mean, this,
Oh yeah,
so,
it does look like that, does it?
are we all in agreement that this burgundy one is the best of the lot?
I think it's the best one, but it's still not good. I dislike
good.
the giant commander's word mark.
I
Yeah,
didn't
that's
say it was
bad.
good. I didn't say it was good.
I think that if you took the burgundy jersey, got rid of the giant JCPenney catalog from 1971 word mark on it, and went with like the gold pants with some stripes, it would probably be a pretty solid look.
And
Not bad.
and took out the military dashes and the numbers.
Yeah.
Stencil. Yeah. Again, like if they had just gone with a simple Washington football uniform and put the word even just in Washington or made commanders smaller or whatever, it's not that hard, and yet they made it so difficult.
Well,
What else we got,
let's,
Zach?
I think.
On
Mike,
Well,
Go ahead.
since the burgundy is the least offensive, I don't know which one's worse, the white or the black. I think the white might be worse, so we're going to go with the white, the away uniform.
Okay.
Again, for those listening at home, it's white, and then the numbers are burgundy, but they have like a gradient to white like 3 different times.
it's not Matrix.
Yeah, it's
And
not
then
Matrix.
on the sleeves, it also does the same thing, where it's the dot matrix gradient from red to burgundy or burgundy to white with a black stripe and the whole thing. This is a joy. Tells the story of forward movement and speed.
What?
Fuck off.
The gradient effect on the numbers is the first of its kind in the league. Again, not true.
Wrong.
No, it's not. This happened a year ago.
The
We were
forward
bitching about
moving
this a year
theme. The forward moving theme of this jersey is a tribute
God.
to the city born of innovation, paying tribute to the pioneering ideas of such individuals as Charles L'Enfant and Benjamin Banneker that helped build DC.
Question: if this is about the vision of the building of Washington D.C., why did you use dot matrix to represent something that happened in the 1700s?
Because the diamond fade print inside the numbers is a nod to the diamond shape of DC's district boundary. We went over this on the home uniforms.
Except it's not diamond shaped. It's like 3/4 of a diamond with a big fucking chunk taken out of it. God,
Maybe the
geez.
diamond flex and the Pentagon by an aircraft. Maybe that's supposed to be some sort of a, you know.
Yeesh. Again,
I'm trying to
Mike
think of
already
what.
said- No, go ahead, Andy.
No. Just thinking
Okay.
about that.
As Mike already said, the black outline and the stripe on this is in the official copy. The black number outline and the stripe on the sleeve paved the way for the black alternate jersey.
Oh,
No,
that's
that's not
a brag about.
the black.
No,
the black jersey was the players being dumb paved the way for the ownership to get a black. People buying
Right.
black uniforms at stores paved the way for them to have a
Right,
black
but
uniform.
I think you were resetting when Mike said this. There is apparently an NFL rule that says that you have to use jersey colors that you already have for your alternate. So they had to put black on one of these things to justify making a black alternate.
And that's why the Jets have like the little black outlines on their numbers and stuff, right? So they can
Yep.
get that stupid fucking
All right.
black. Oh
This
my
is
god.
this is so stupid. I hate this.
And then
fucking
again,
league.
the last line, the crest on the back of the uniform is above the name.
I love how they just one of the points is literally just we put a logo here.
Wait, I want to back up. Remember when we were talking a while ago about the Colts having those black swooshes on? Was it the home or the road? That's okay. Now I'm really nervous about that.
Mhm,
Yeah,
as
oh,
you should
don't-
be.
I mean, I
Don't you
thought
worry,
back then
Greg,
they were
it'll
going to go with
come.
a black jersey, but now they actually they've paved the way, to borrow from Nike speak, to do that. Jesus.
Which is
All right, go
interesting that we're learning this because now I know the Rams aren't going to get a black alternate because they can't.
I know.
Which is
I'm in my
nice to
head. I'm like going through like what colors do the Browns wear? Okay, everything's good. We're fine. All right, yeah. This
Yeah, these are. I mean, between the dot matrix like gradient shit, it just. I think we established this is like a bad Arizona State alternate, right?
Yeah.
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 like Mike said, that's what they play like they'd wear on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, they look like something that Arizona State would wear on a Tuesday night game.
It's I don't get it. Especially like again, we've established that they chose 3 different designs because they wanted to, but like you put this uniform next to the home uniform, and really the only thing it has in common is the shape of the numbers. I guess the shape of the stripes, but once you throw in the gradient, it doesn't matter anymore. It's not the same thing.
This team's gonna look so disjointed. It's
like the uniform doesn't even match the helmet.
Nope, it does not, because the helmet has a single gold stripe down the middle, whereas the jerseys have the 2 gold stripes with a white one in the middle. So
you know what one of the coolest things about the old helmet was the like the depending on how you count your stripes, either the 3 or the 5 stripe pattern, like the Oilers used to have and the Dolphins had for a while. That was cool. And so they go, well, you know what? That was cool. So fuck it. Let's leave that out. I mean, come on, what the hell's it? This was just such an easy thing to do. Like Mike did it in 45 minutes, and with those old gold, the
gold, the gold one, the gold helmets,
Packers uniforms, basically the Lombardi era uniforms that they wore, and it looked fantastic. Just the W inside a circle with the 3 stars above it, red outline on that beautiful gold and burgundy and white uniform looked fantastic. Would have been one of the top looks in the league if they'd done that. Nope. We got to sit here and talk about this pile of fucking garbage instead, because I don't know why. Other than Snyder's an idiot.
As I flip between the two, I've changed my mind. The black is much worse than the than the white one.
Oh yes,
because the helmet goes along with it. So again,
fucking helmet
for those playing at home. This is like it's black. So it's not even like really black. It's almost like the graphite black. It's kind of lighter.
Does it have like camo or snakeskin pattern?
It has camo with dot matrix like on the collar and on the sleeves.
You know what it reminded me of when I saw the helmet was a bowling ball that's been used a whole bunch.
The same pattern also goes down the side of the pants.
Used to be really shiny, not so much anymore.
And then the matte black helmet with the W on the front and giant numbers on the side of it.
Yeah.
And the W is about the size of a sticker that you would, get out of a gumball machine. It's tiny. At least it looks tiny to me.
Football teams everywhere. We've tried this a few times now. Please stop putting logos on the front of the helmet. It does not work.
It really doesn't, no.
Like, sometimes you have a cool, interesting design element, like a cool stripe. Maybe. Generally speaking, stop doing it. All right. The black uniform. Lines that frame the player last name are on the back, mirror the strong, bold lines of the Commander's primary logo type. I forgot about that because they don't show the back on this graphic. But the name on the back of these things is awful. The custom military-inspired diamond camo presents a ownable, not an ownable, a ownable DC narrative.
What?
The custom military-inspired diamond camo presents a ownable narrative, DC narrative.
What?
one more time.
Okay.
The custom military-inspired diamond camo presents a ownable DC narrative.
Those are just some words.
Yeah, that's just we put words together and threw a couple of marks in there. That's it.
Yeah, Commander's word mark is positioned in an authentic military name tape placement, aka the "Hello, my name is" tag that the Rams popularized.
Yes.
I'm very sorry to everyone for what we've done.
For unleashing that on the league.
In case you forgot what team this is, it's this one. One sleeve has the DC flag representing the city. The other sleeve has the crest, showcasing that we are a team of leaders.
Except it's not the DC flag. It looks like the South Vietnamese flag.
Yeah, you can't really change the color on a flag because then it becomes like another flag. Because
especially, I was just a kid, but I remember that South Vietnam was our quote unquote ally in this thing. But I remember that flag, and that's the first thing I thought of when I looked at it.
Like, I never thought about that, and as I Googled it, you're absolutely right. Like, it looks
like, why are you rocking the South Vietnamese flag on a Washington?
Well, it's important to, the Cardinals in St. Louis reach out to the Bosnian community. Maybe they're going for the South Vietnamese community. It's important to make these inroads, Greg.
Yeah. I mean, just like is there a large Bosnian population in Washington? I don't know.
the South Vietnamese market. That's an untapped market in the NFL, probably.
Yeah, truly. And so the other part of that sentence, the other sleeve has the crest showcasing that we are a team of leaders. Is that what the crest says? I think the crest just says 1932.
And a bunch of wrong years.
All right. Last line.
I understand what you're saying with the year thing, Zach, but it's kind of accepted that the year that the season is what you get to claim, not the year that you actually won it. So that's why.
Look.
No, I understand. I'm just saying that like I've made the mistake too, so I don't blame them. But
but they
look. I am rather agnostic on this whole year debate. I just like ragging on it because it's just one more reason to make fun of these stupid things.
If somebody said the 1992 Super Bowl, they wouldn't be wrong.
No, but they won for the 91 season. See, like I saw 92 and I'm going, no, that was Dallas. And then I saw
really the issue with all this.
No, 88 was who the fuck won in 88? The Niners beat the Bengals in 88.
The issue with all this is we shouldn't have made the Super Bowl's Roman numerals, I think is what we're learning now. Anyway, the last line of the description here. Stronger together. When each team member works in unison, no man is left behind.
No bullshit. Believe me.
It would be really inspiring to look back on when they are, 4-12.
Let that special teamer out there fumble a kick return and then miss a couple of tackles. They'll leave his ass behind. I promise you. It's horrible. It is top to bottom an absolute disaster. There's no other way to describe it. It's just redeeming about it.
I can't remember a single recent uniform where it was like where I didn't come out of it and say, oh, you know what? Yeah, they're not great, but I do like this.
Yeah,
they're like uniform wise. I don't like any part of any of these three.
That's my thing. It's like
they're all bad.
There are parts of it where I go, it could have been better. I mean, that's the best I have to say about like this isn't horrible, but no.
Even I guess you could say the sleeves on the home are fine, but like the word mark on the home sucks. The number on the home sucks. Like it just and the whole package together looks like garbage.
Yeah, well.
You want to know the worst thing? Welcome back, Andy.
Yeah, my internet is my computer is 7 years old, which in today's terms makes it like several million years old. I have no idea why it's running like shit, but this week I'm going to try and do some drastic stuff to get my setup working better, so I'm not dropping as much. Anyway, sorry. Thanks for putting up with the dips and dives here.
It's all right.
Well, we went through a whole bunch. So, any more thoughts on the uniforms themselves?
I listened. Yeah, I was listening, and I didn't want to like try and speak up as like a fucking robot. But it all blows. There's no redeeming goodness to any of it. It's all shit, and they fucked it all up. And I don't feel an ounce of sympathy for them. And I hope a lot of their fans abandon the franchise.
The one thing that's really worrisome about these is that this is the first case we're seeing of an alternate helmet that's not a throwback.
Yeah.
The NFL is doing away with the one helmet rule this upcoming season. And whereas previously alternate helmets were limited to just throwback designs, they have done away with that. These new helmets...
Yeah.
Teams will have the option to have an alternate helmet, and it can be anything. It could be a throwback. It could be a completely new design. And as we can see here, Washington has opted for a completely new design. So get ready for a bunch of college-ass stupid helmet designs to seep their way into the NFL.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like,
I get it in their case because they really can't. The only thing they could throw back to would be last year's helmet. They really can't go back to any of the other ones unless they went to the R helmet. No, they can't do that either. Because that wouldn't work.
No, none of them would really work.
Yeah, so that's it. So what I'm worried about, what you just brought up, Mike, is like we're going to see like the Detroit Lions in their, I don't know, God, I can't believe I just put that out into the universe, but it's going to be something. Yeah.
Like you're going to see a bunch of shit. Like you get ready for like Motor City helmets or crap like that. Like we're going to see some.
a race car on the side of it or some
We're gonna
shit.
see some absolute garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, just I think we said that these were bad spring football uniforms at best. And
Well, the thing about it is that, I will go to the grave defending my AAF. The AAF had better uniforms than this, man.
Oh yeah, no, the XFL had the original Washington Defenders, right?
That's
Yeah, the
okay.
XFL had the. I was gonna say the AAF had better uniforms than this, and the Washington Defenders, the DC Defenders of the XFL had better uniforms than this.
Yeah, yeah. It's. I think that we've made our point with this. It's no one has any. I can't think of. I'm trying to think of one thing about it that the best I can do is go, yeah, that's okay. I guess there's nothing I like about it at all. Nothing, which is hard. Even the worst uniform designs were like we'd always come out with like one redeeming quality, like the Falcons. I like they fucked it from top to bottom, but the helmets look good.
I will say this. I found it hilarious how the name was kind of confirmed via like a rogue helicopter.
Right.
That was fun.
That was somebody from the boards. I'm telling you.
Yeah, there were a lot of people wondering if that was someone from the CCSLC because only someone from there would be crazy enough to fly a helicopter by the stadium to try to figure the name out.
I love, man, the minute like a teaser video comes out, they go Zapruder film on that thing, and it's like they'll find shit. And I go, wow, that's impressive. These guys should be detectives. But yeah, when I saw that video from that helicopter, I'm like, that's one of us. I know it. A civilian doesn't do that. Just does not even think of it. But yeah.
well, in better NFL uniform news, the Super Bowl is going to look
good.
Nice.
Yes, it is. It's going to look crisp and sharp.
We got the Bengals in the black jerseys, and much to Andy's chagrin, the clownfish pants. But the Rams were able to get their petition through, and they will be wearing the modern throwbacks instead of bone.
Thank the good Lord.
No bone.
Yeah.
So if the Rams win it, if the Rams win this game, will that be enough to banish the bone to the land of ghosts and wind?
I think by just approving them for this game at all, I think that's what you're seeing. Now, the problem that people have had with these jerseys is that nobody can fucking buy them. So the Rams all season, like, there's the various levels of replica jersey that we can purchase. And the one that I enjoy with the stitched numbers, the Vapor, the Elites, I think it's called. I mean, that's the one that I would want to get. They have not sold the white jerseys in that style at all this season. They have only been in like the regular replica with the iron-on numbers. And so and they have a limited number of them available at some pop-up shop that they had to make because since the team store is at the stadium and the stadium is shut down for Super Bowl prep, they had to make new team stores. and so people waited in like an 8-hour line to get to the store to find out that they didn't have the white jerseys in stock. So they had to like pre-order them. And then when they did get them, there's only a limited amount of them. And it's all the iron-on shit and it's not the good quality uniform that we still haven't been able to order the good one all year. And so if the Rams do win the Super Bowl, I want to buy the white jersey with the patch and have everything sewn on. I don't know when or even if I will be able to do that. And that's a major failure on, I don't know if it's Nike's part or the Rams part, but somebody messed up in terms of the merchandising here. And it's
so weird. It's so weird. It's so weird that they unveiled an entire new jersey this year and didn't have it available at like every price point.
Yeah, and I understand that the last year and a half has been tough for people with like shipping delays and et cetera, et cetera. But like after the end of the season, we still don't have enough available to buy. Like, what the hell have you been doing?
With the lead time something like that would require, I'm not surprised that we're this far into it and they still can't get caught up on it because if you go by what we're told that they need this amount of time because of merchandising and all that, then maybe they just are that far behind. And you know what I would do, Zach? I just order the damn thing and just go, well, it'll get here when it gets here. You know, if you can. I don't.
Well, we can't. They don't even have it like on the shop.
Oh wow!
Because that's the other thing is the white jerseys are only available like in the store to purchase with the patch. You can't even order them online. The ones that they're selling online are the blue jerseys, which again they're not wearing. So I don't know. I don't understand why people buy. Like, it's one thing in like every other sport where the team wears the home and the road jersey no matter what in a championship round. So it doesn't matter what you get. It's all up to your personal preference. But like, I do see people that get like a Stanley Cup final patch on an alternate jersey when they didn't wear it, and it's like that's incorrect. I see people at the Ducks games that have the black Anaheim script alternates that they wore, and then they put the Stanley Cup final patch from the year they won, which was 2 years after they stopped wearing those jerseys, and it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That's sort of a situation that I'm struggling with, because as a gift, someone got me actually a red Tom Brady Bucks jersey with the Super Bowl patch.
Is it the iron-on stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is though, it's got the Super Bowl patch, but they wore white in that game.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So I'm like, I got this jersey as a gift. I like it, whatever. It's a fine jersey for what it is, but it's like my OCD starts acting. It's like, that's not no, it's wrong.
This is why, to a degree, I've stopped asking people to buy me jerseys for gifts.
Yeah.
And because it's like, if a new jersey is coming out and someone's like, oh, I would like to get you that jersey for Christmas. It's like, well, I can't just let you go do it on your own, because there's
you
very
won't
specific.
Understand.
I know. It's like, no. You see, I need this version of the replica, not that version of the replica, and I need this patch, not that patch, and there's a whole lot of moving parts, and it makes me sound like a jerk for not being like accepting of the gift they want to give me. But it's like,
you're a jerk.
No, I
want
your
gift person.
I want the gift. I would accept the gift. I just want it to be right, so that I'm not mad at you later.
At least you're honest about it.
Like my girlfriend, she had this new coworker, and this coworker like broke the printer one day, and so to overcompensate for this, she wanted to buy Alex a Ducks jersey, which is like, damn, don't need to do that at all. But what they did is they bought the cheap replica, so like the screeny numbers that aren't good, and the women's cut, which she doesn't like the women's cut of these things because it has this huge wide open collar and the super narrow waist rather than just like a hockey jersey. And so she got it. It's like, oh, well, thank you. But she's never going to wear it.
At least it wasn't a pink one.
No, but it's one of those things where it's like,
for a hot moment.
It's a very nice thing you've done for me, but I don't want this.
Real women fans don't want that women shit. That they don't wear that. They want the real jersey, just like we would. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
it
especially with the hockey jerseys, the collar is all bad. The collar is bad. Like the Adidas collars are not great as is, but like the women's cuts make them look super weird. But I'm sure everyone that's listening to us from the boards knows the exact same struggle that we're talking about. Where it's like,
oh yeah, no, they're the only people who would actually understand us.
It's like, what I don't understand. The $100 one looks the same as the $250 one. It's like, yes, I know they look the same, but they are not. So
I'm really lucky in that respect because my girlfriend's very good at this. And if like say like her family goes, okay, we want to get Greg a jersey. She'll ask me and I'll go, I want this specific one. And then she's very good at communicating. Like, it has to be this one, not like I wanted a Cleveland Crusaders jersey a few years ago. And I'm like, it's got to be from this company. I want the white one. And it was perfect. I got a Nordiques jersey a few years after that. Same deal. Got to be this company. I want this version of it, blah, blah, blah. She just nails it every time. But
it's just a weird thing.
I'd get the Wolfpack Nordiques jersey that I'd be like, well, this is nice, I guess.
I mean,
there are so many jerseys that I see like online where it's like, I do want this jersey. I just don't want that jersey. I want this jersey, just not that one there. And so like there are jerseys that I do not own that are available to purchase, but I like this, like the Rams white one. I want a very specific thing. And if they don't provide it to me, I'm not going to just give in and say, fine, I'm going to get the cheap alternate version. Like, no. I want the high quality version of this thing, not the thing that's going to break down on me in 2 years of wearing it, you know?
Yeah.
Especially if it's a Super Bowl thing. Like if it's a jersey where they win the Super Bowl, I want it to last for a long time, to be able to wear for a long time. I don't want to like look at it in 3 years and be like, can't wear it because the numbers are all cracked and it's peeling and faded and whatever.
See but that's my thing though. I like that you can still get a hockey jersey that's just blank. I like the blank on the back jersey, because that way you never have to worry about it. You're not like I'm wearing an Eric Lindros Rangers jersey, which I never would have worn anyway, because fuck him. But
that's what makes football tough for sure. In that regard. Same with basketball.
I mean, the CFL doesn't care about these sort of complaints.
No, they don't.
The CFL, the standard is just blank. You have to specify if you want a unique player.
I know. Whenever we turn on a CFL game and I look at the crowd, it's like, God, that just something looks off. It looks like a video game crowd.
Back in the 80s, when the Browns were like doing their thing, there was this place called Merle Harmon's Fanfare. It was like a sports memorabilia, like a franchise sports memorabilia place. And when you went in, they had blank Browns jerseys, and you'd say, okay, I want like number 29. And they would like heat press the numbers on right there for you. That's how you got your jersey back then.
That's still kind of how it is in Canada. There was like stores that you can go, stores that are licensed to sell CFL gear. Like you buy them blank, and like they ask you, it's like, you know, do you want a name or a name and number on it on this? And then they will do it for you in the store, because like that's sort of the thing, is that you buy in the CFL, you buy the jerseys blank and you pay extra afterwards for customization.
Yeah, that's the way it used to be. They had like they had like the Browns, Bengals, Lions, and they didn't have like every team like you can get now. So it was wild if you'd walk in there and see like a Buccaneers jersey. You go, oh wow, that's cool, because you didn't really ever see one in the wild. But yeah, that's how we did it, and it was cool. But that's not like that anymore. I mean, the whole thing is, we've talked about it a million times on the show, but the explosion that I've witnessed in my lifetime as a sports logo geek, the way this has gone, it's really pretty amazing to where we are today compared to where it was. Like, even
it's cool, but at the same time, it encourages shit like we just saw out of Washington. So
exactly, yeah. Anyway, so should we move on to the Super Bowl, Zach? Our second best
superb owl.
Back-to-back years, we've had a bass participant in the Super Bowl. How about that?
Superb Owl Levi. Can't wait for it.
Yeah,
man. I'm. Are
you psyched?
It kind of hit me this morning. It was like, oh man, it's game week, man. It's Super Bowl week. I thought about trying to make time to go up to the NFL experience thing, the Super Bowl experience thing that they have, or Radio Row, and it's like I don't know if I don't think I have the time, or I don't necessarily want to pay for it either. I don't know, man. I'm super pumped. I'm like the Super Bowl is happening and it's here in LA, and it's just cool. Like there seems to be legitimate buzz around the Rams in Southern California right now, which it's significantly more than it was the last time, and that just shows me that the team's growing. Screw the charge. Like Justin Herbert won the Pro Bowl MVP yesterday, and I don't think anyone knows.
My Pro Bowl watch time consisted of like, I was at a restaurant last night and they had the game on behind the bar, and I noticed it was a 1 touchdown game and went, and then that was it. So
I was flipping through channels and I saw it, and I think it was Russell Wilson throw a pass. It was caught, and basically the guy 2-hand tapped him. They stopped the play. I thought, I am not even. If you're going to do flag football, let's do flag football. I get you don't want to make anybody get hurt. I understand that. I'm completely okay with that. But don't make them wear the pads and all that shit either. Then throw the helmet on so you know who everybody is, and fuck it, let's go.
I didn't see a second of it. I only saw some like highlights on my Instagram. But like, if they're doing 2-hand touch tackling, How the hell are the linemen blocking each other?
I don't know. I only watched like 2 plays. And
I just don't understand.
First off, because it was Russell Wilson and fuck him. I was like, no.
Right, yeah.
They show that asshole. He's like, before I saw something that showed up before the game. He's got his fucking sunglasses on, trying to look cool. It's like, dude, you're not even, like if Rodgers and Brady weren't Rodgers and Brady, you wouldn't be there right now. You wouldn't be there. I don't know who the 3rd string quarterback would be in the NFC. Who would it be?
The NFC was Kyler Murray.
Okay, yeah, but fuck Russell Wilson. Anyway, it's just the idea is that if you're going to make it a touch football game, make it a touch football game. Let's have some fun with it. Have the offensive lineman play wide receiver. Let's really go all out and have a good time. Look, that wasn't football yesterday. I don't know what that was. It wasn't even a good walkthrough, really. It was just kind of a joke. I ended up watching that crazy race they had at the LA Coliseum, which was wow.
Last night I ended up aside from one brief little look in on the Pro Bowl. Last night I ended up seeing Moonfall.
Yeah. That was weird, Mike. I was literally, when you texted, I saw Moonfall and it was stupid. I was just literally starting to read a Moonfall review. So I thought that was kind of one of those.
I definitely want your thoughts on Moonfall, Mike, when we get to, Pop Culture Corner, when we close out the show. But,
oh, yeah. Okay. No. Ask away when we get there. Cause, that's a dumb ride.
I've got some thoughts on that movie too. And I've not even seen it, but I still got some thoughts just on the trailer alone. So anyway, so Super Bowl, we all made our picks last week, right?
I believe we did, yeah.
Yes. I'm picking the Rams.
Yeah, you because you like kicking kittens, that's why.
Well, no, there's always like who do I think's gonna win versus who do I want to win, and like I'll granted I've been underestimating these Bengals this entire playoff, but like I don't like that offensive line against the Rams defense. And if Joe Burrow's going to be, hounded all day, I don't see how that bodes well. So
I think they could quintuple team Aaron Donald with that line. It's not going to be enough. So they've either got to figure out some good rollout plays or something, because Aaron Donald's going to be on him it's going to be ugly, I think.
Yeah, and as for who I wanted to win, I mean, again, I would say that as someone who doesn't have a dog in the fight, it is kind of a rare occurrence. It's like either way it goes, I think I'm going to be happy with it.
Isn't that cool that you had that last year too, but like to have a year where there's no oh my God, I hate that fucker, or I want these guys. I mean, it's really nice. I'm happy with either team winning. I'd like to see the Bengals win, but I picked the Bengals. If you had to put a gun to my head and say, who do you really want to win? I'd say the Bengals, but right now I'm happy either way. Just give me a good game. I'm happy with whoever wins.
Well, as I said in the group text, after kind of going back and forth, who would my choice be? I think it would have to be the Rams, just because the Rams deserve a Super Bowl that is not tainted with St. Louis.
Yeah, this would be the first Super Bowl won by the Los Angeles Rams.
And if the Los Angeles Rams got their Super Bowl in LA, I think that would just put an exclamation mark on it. So I don't know. If the Bengals pull off what I would consider an upset and win, I'm not going to be mad about it. I'm going to be pretty happy with it. The Joe Burrow is fun. That Bengals team is fun, but as for who I'd like to see, I got to go with the Rams. So.
Speaking of Joe Burrow for a second, I saw this come up on the boards. One of the guys, we were talking about it in the NFL thread, and he said that there are at least 10 teams in the NFL that would like to have Joe Burrow right now. And I'm thinking about it. I'm going, all right, I think there's actually 30 teams that, given the opportunity to get him, would take him. And I'm including the Rams in that. Not because he's better than Stafford or because Stafford's not good, because he's young. He's on it, and DG now pointed out he's on his rookie contract. This guy's the best value in football right now. So I'm just trying to think, okay, he said 10. I said short of Kansas City or Buffalo, who wouldn't want him right now? Can you think of anyone?
I think the Chargers like Justin Herbert.
Yeah, but they'd give it some thought, though. You got to admit. They'd be like, maybe. I mean, they're probably – I even said that. I said the other team I can think of would be the Chargers. But, Mike, right now, would you take Joe Burrow, the quarterback of the Bucs?
Yeah.
You know what? I'll give Baker Mayfield a ride to the fucking airport if you want to trade us Burrow for him right now. I'll do it myself.
Hell, I think that the Texans would take him as their head coach right now.
Oh God!
Texans are waiting for the Lord to instruct them.
What is it? Levy Smith is the leading candidate now.
Yeah, that sounds like Lovie Smith is going to get his return to the NFL there, which is a wild turn from the Josh McCown of it all.
Well, apparently there's a very good reason why this is happening. From what I've been reading, McCown was their choice, but they found it a hard sell for team sponsors.
Oh, really? Wonder why?
like
that he's never coached a thing in his life.
Yeah, basically the team, like the companies that sponsor the Texans were like, why?
I understand that. There are few people. We are one of the rare groups of people that understand the true genius of the McCown family. So I get it. I would say that another thing too, bad optics to hire the whitest guy in fucking existence in this current climate of head coaching hiring.
The what did you say, Zach? Like, Texans have narrowed their search down to Josh McCown and Brian Flores. It's like Brian Flores' suit in a nutshell. Like,
yeah, I think it's good for Houston that they're hiring a black guy in this case, because if the finalists had been Brian Flores and Josh McCown and they'd picked Josh McCown, I think Brian Flores is going to win his lawsuit.
Oh, without question.
Yeah,
that alone wins. You know,
that's right now where it's like, does Brian Flores even need to show up to court, or will they just send him a statement check?
At that point, the NFL's lawyers on the phone going, "Let's settle this bitch right now." I mean, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even touched on that lawsuit, but man, like,
yeah, maybe but it's. I hate to
wild how much
because you know there is an argument to be made, and I've seen, I forget, somebody on the boards brought it up that like they didn't see a lot of racism here, and I guess I don't know, I didn't read into the damn thing that much, but the fact that we can even wonder if there is at this point is just disgusting to me. Why are we at this point in the year 2022? Why should we even be having this conversation? We shouldn't be.
As a former Chargers fan, it brings me great joy to see shame brought down on John Elway, who apparently showed up at an interview drunk. Well,
as a Browns fan, it doesn't bother me a whole lot to see him have shame either, Mike. So,
then there's always the conspiracy that like Belichick is behind all of this, because it's like you look at it's like he's going after Flores is going after primarily the Dolphins and the Giants. One is an AFC East team that always gives the Patriots fits, and the other is a team that beat the Patriots twice in the Super Bowl.
Well,
and so I quite like the idea that, and Flores has worked for Belichick before, so that like Belichick is orchestrating this whole thing to basically scorch the earth.
Yeah, hey, you know what? I wouldn't rule it out entirely. I rule it out mostly, but not entirely.
Well, I'm just imagining Bill Belichick sitting there at his kitchen table, by his one laptop and coffee mug,
with his dog,
with a dog, orchestrating. It's like, okay, Brian, I'm going to send you the text now.
Well, Zach, do you have the list of like head coaching hires in front of you right now, or do you know like off the top of your head? Because I've lost track.
No, I can pull it up. It's,
I know that
I think almost all of them have been filled at this point.
Did Eric Bieniemy get the job in New Orleans?
No, they're hiring their defensive coordinator,
who is
white.
I'm not. Look, this is a tricky issue. I'll be the first to admit that. But for fuck's sake, how many retread and white guys we've never fucking heard of do we have to go through before we finally go, hey, you know what? Let's see if this cat over here in Kansas City we've been talking about for 5 fucking years can actually get the job done. What the fuck do we need to do? I'm serious. I don't understand this. I mean, I get it. He's got a little bit of a history. If you lined up my rap sheet against Eric Bieniemy's, I don't know that they'd be entirely different. So it pisses me off. It's
so here we go. I have the list. So the New Orleans Saints are hiring Dennis Allen, their defensive coordinator, who, as I said, is a white guy. The Giants are famously hiring Brian DeBole, who Bill Belichick confused with Brian Flores in a text message.
Yeah, quote unquote confused.
Yikes. The Chicago Bears are hiring Matt Eberflus.
Mike and I gearing up for that conspiracy show we're doing later this week.
Right.
So, again, for the qualifications, Dennis Allen was the Saints D coordinator over the last couple of years. Brian DeBoll was the Bills offensive coordinator. Matt Eberflus, he was a defensive coach with the Colts, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Got hired by the Bears. Again, another white guy. Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator from the Packers, going to Denver.
White guy?
White guy. Older white guy.
He's a Reggie Cleveland All-Star, though. He could have gone either way as far as the name goes.
Yeah. Also,
Cleveland All-Star.
pick another leaf off the old Sean McVay tree there. The Miami Dolphins hire San Francisco offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel, white guy.
Yeah, he identifies as multiracial.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, right. That's right.
But here's the thing, and look, good for him.
I've never seen this guy. I gotta look it up. Okay, Mike.
No. Mike McDaniel. Yeah, he is actually multiracial. That's right.
Yeah, well, you know what? So am I. But if you look at me, you're gonna go, I don't know about that.
Yeah. I don't know. He looks Mediterranean. Is what I'll say.
Close enough.
But that just goes to it's not even like a race thing. It's like, okay, you're hiring the San Francisco 49ers offensive coordinator after these playoffs?
I gotta think
you're a really big fan of passing when you're leading in the fourth? Is that what's going on?
My thing is that I think that, I know that I don't know if Flores has a suit here or not. I mean, because you may not agree with it, but you've got to allow for the possibility that this guy is the jerk they say he is. And he might just be tough to get along with, and that's why nobody wants to hire him. You can't completely rule that out. But this much I know for sure. Eric Bieniemy does not have that reputation. Yet he's not even getting a fucking interview anywhere. So then that really kind of gives you you go, maybe Flores is right here.
And again, to back up this whole thing, Josh McDaniels to the Raiders.
Yeah.
White. Doug Peterson to the Jaguars.
That's what I mean. Peterson won a Super Bowl at the Eagles. Okay, and didn't do shit after that, by the way.
Yeah. Then we have Lovie Smith with the Texans.
I'll actually give the Jaguars a pass on this because by all accounts they were going to hire Brian Leftwich until Byron Leftwich backed out.
Yeah.
Which, he probably was like, holy shit, it's the Jaguars. What am I thinking? No.
And then the last one, again, another branch off the McVay tree. The Rams offensive coordinator is expected to be hired. Kevin O'Connell is expected to be hired by the Vikings after the Super Bowl. Also a white guy. So
they were going to hire Josh Harbaugh.
Thank God that didn't happen.
But apparently he got offended that they wanted to interview him.
Well, yeah, good.
Jim Harbaugh.
I need Michigan, so this is fine.
Of the 9 head coaching vacancies that we had this offseason, we're getting 1.25 black guys.
Oh, no. Look, when you start talking about percentages and this kind of stuff, it never ends well. Just no.
The only thing I can find about Mike McDaniel is that it says his father is of black descent, not that he is black.
Which could mean that his dad's half black or something.
Right. I would bet you if you went back far enough in my family tree, I'm probably part black too. That's not the point.
Well, I did that ancestry test thing, and it came back. I had 2% West African, and it's all
right, yeah. But no.
Another story I found says that his dad is black. It
whatever.
depends on how you want to identify people based on percentages.
And that's fine. I mean, I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to sit and argue the details about whether he's black or not or whatever. That's entirely up to him. But the point is that, what'd you say? We'll call it 1.5 out of 9.
1.5 out of 9.
Okay, so first off,
when we fired 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
In a league that's 70% black, 80% black?
70%, I think, is the number.
So now in total, we'll have 2.5 black head coaches in the league.
But here's my question, okay? Josh McDaniel, right? You saw the Patriots offense last year, okay? You saw Kansas City's offense last year, or this year, whichever way you want to refer to it. All right? Whose offense would you rather have if you're the LA or the Las Vegas Raiders? New England's or Kansas City's?
There's
If that's what you're going for.
Hell,
And not to mention the fact that this fucking idiot, like I said, hiring him's the easy part. Getting him to show up's the trick.
yeah,
So
outside
of,
hell, look at the Niners. Outside of Debo Samuel's injection, what about the Niners offense really thrilled you?
nothing.
I'm also
opposing it, but yeah, nothing.
I'm also going to put this out there that it is my ongoing theory that the reason Byron Leftwich backed out of the Jags job is because the Bucks essentially said, "Hey, when Bruce Arians retires, we'll give you the starting. We'll give you the head coaching job here."
Basically, with all these batteries on these machines that are keeping him alive,
when his life support system finally peters out, so I mean, I would say that I expect the Buccaneers to have probably have Byron Leftwich as a head coach sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Which actually got me thinking, and I thought back, like, before Arians showed up, like, between Tony Dungy, Lovie Smith, and there's one other guy whose name escapes me, but, like, they've had 3 black head coaches in recent history. So, Buccaneers, symbol of, bastion of diversity.
People keep saying that their D coordinator, Todd Bowles, is going to get another shot as a head coach at some point, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's at least, if at least like Lovie Smith's a retread, Bowles would be a retread, but at least we're not going out and like the one, I can't think of what was that fucking idiot that the Chargers had, Norv Turner. How many fucking times did that guy have to fail before they finally went, you know what? He's not very good at this. And it just drives me crazy that we're having this conversation still in 2022. We should not be having this. It shouldn't even be an issue, but here we are still. And I keep harping on Eric Bieniemy, but for fuck's sake, what does the guy have to do? And spare me that he's got a past bullshit, because you know what? There are guys in this league. Take Kareem Hunt, for example, who, kicked the living shit out of a woman. And the Browns said, "Oh, you can come play here because Kansas City doesn't want you." Or how about Joe Mixon? I think that he's got a worse, maybe not as many incidents, but the ones that he does have are worse than anything Bieniemy did. What about Raheem Morris? Was he a head coach for a while? I don't remember.
Yeah, he was a head coach with the Bucks.
Oh, that was the other guy I was thinking of, Raheem Morris. So yeah, Raheem Morris, Tony Dungy, and Lovie Smith. Yeah, the 3 black Bucks head coaches.
He's the defensive coordinator for the Rams right now.
The Rams defense is pretty fucking good. Maybe you want to give Raheem Morris a look.
Also, just to add into this pile, we got New Orleans Saints player Alvin Kamara.
Yeah,
got apparently arrested for battery at a Las Vegas nightclub after the Pro Bowl. So.
You want some advice? Professional sports, don't have all-star games in Las Vegas. Just not a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, the NHL, their big controversy is Trevor Zegras, Ducks phenom, future of the league. That kid, who, if you didn't see his breakaway challenge, goal, look it up. It's fun. He is 20 years and 11 months old, and there was a photo of him drinking a Bud Light in a Vegas club.
Oh no. That's about
because I mean, between all of us, none of you guys have ever drinking before you were 21, right?
I've never no.
Well, actually, I'm sold that drinking age was 18. So
yeah,
where still held off until you were 21.
And where I come from, the drinking age is 19. So
it went from 18 to 19, and it was always like right after I would turn that age, it would switch. Like it went from 18 to 19. Then I was okay for a couple years, and it turned 21, and it switched to 21. So I never really got caught in it. But yeah, I started at 18 and did at 21 here in Ohio. But it just, I don't know. How do you guys know? In Alberta, it's 18, Mike.
Yeah, in Alberta, it's 18. In Ontario, it's 19.
Well, shit.
Alberta might as well be Texas. We've established that.
But yeah, and again, like the idea of a drinking age of 21 is just dumb in and of itself. But we won't get into that.
Well, if you well, I don't know. I mean, I think it was a Reagan thing is what started it.
It was yes, it was a Reagan thing.
Was it a Reagan thing? Where like we weren't going to give you highway funds if you didn't have the drinking age? Wasn't that? Is that
Yes,
yeah, right?
that's what it was.
Yeah. So, well, that's how Ohio got it to hold from 18 instead of going straight to 21. They got it to 19 by doing this big petition in the bars, which is the perfect place to do this sort of thing if you're going to do it. And they got it to hold to 19, and then they just couldn't hold it off anymore. The Reagan years were strange, to say the least. But I digress. So we got some Super Bowl in, right?
The other thing with the Super Bowl that we know, I didn't do a whole lot of research for this time, but we do have some fun props to go.
Ooh.
I've noticed that we always talk about the prop bets, and then we like make our predictions, and then we never go back to see how we did.
No, we don't. Look, I'm actually going to skip most of these because they're kind of the general, like, how long's the national anthem going to be? What's the
national anthem?
Well, the fun prop bets are always like the year or team specific ones anyway.
Yeah,
who's doing the national anthem?
The national anthem is Mickey Guyton.
I have no idea who that is.
Nope, me neither.
Wow.
I've been told it's a country star.
All right, well, that explains why I don't know who it is.
Anyway, really, there's only really like 2 or 3 that I found kind of fun.
All right.
How many commercials will feature a dog? Over under 6.5.
Oh fuck! I'm going way over on that. I think they hit that easy. By first half, we've hit 6.
I'm gonna go under.
Research says that the last 3 Super Bowls have featured an average of 7 dog commercials.
Wait, let's okay. Now, does the dog have to be the focus of the commercial, or simply
the dog just has to be in the commercial?
It just has to be a dog in the commercial.
Oh hell yeah, we'll hit 7, no problem.
I think this is going to be a down year for dogs. I say under 6.
Well, is it going to be a down year for dogs, Mike? Because the next prop, will Snoop Dogg smoke on stage during the halftime show?
Oh fuck yeah!
Yeah, probably because he's going to forget that's where he is, and
if he doesn't, I'll be really disappointed. I will be.
Well, fuck! I want Snoop Dogg to smoke on stage, and then I want him to go up into the broadcast booth and call a few plays.
Absolutely.
Just
Game shit.
Snoop Dogg, best LA Kings commentator. Just gonna put that out there.
Have you guys ever watched him do the highlight show on Peacock after the Sunday Night Football games?
I've seen clips. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't know if there's anybody in the world cooler than Snoop right now. There might be, but
I just love him calling the Kings games. Who's that? That's Dion Phaneuf. Let's go, Dion.
Yeah. Speaking of
the prop is will Snoop smoke before the halftime show? That's a gimme. That's of course.
Yeah. I don't know if he will on stage or not, but
he does.
He will at some point during his afternoon there at SoFi
Oh, for
Stadium.
sure. Oh yeah, absolutely.
This is an interesting one because there are so many performers in this year's halftime show: Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige. Who will perform first?
Running by me again?
Mary J. Blige,
Okay.
Kendrick Lamar, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Eminem.
I think Dre opens.
Yep, that's what I think too.
I think because you want a big name off the top, but you don't want the biggest name off the top.
Or I guess it depends on what they mean. Because if they do What's My Name, Dr. Dre, then Snoop Dogg actually has the first lines in that song.
Well, that's the thing too. They could all come out together. Well, then how do you count it then?
I think it's whoever speaks first.
I think Kendrick Lamar is going to be the first one up. It's my 2 cents.
Isn't he pretty big right now, though?
Yeah.
He is, but I wouldn't say he's the biggest name on that list.
Okay, here's what I would say. I think you got to go with either Dre or Snoop because you got to get the excitement started right away. Okay, Eminem's going to be last. I can promise you that.
Yeah,
more than likely.
Eminem's going to be the heavy hitter. Yeah.
Yeah, you either go with Dre or Snoop to get it started. And you bring out a couple of the lesser weights. I won't call them lightweights, and to kind of keep it rolling. Then bang, you come up with another big star, and then you finish it up with Eminem, and like the whole thing blows up, and the world's never the same, and et cetera, et cetera. Off we go into history.
Interestingly, the odds go in decreasing order here. Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar, Snoop, Dr. Dre, Eminem. So the odds makers have Mary J. Blige as the favorite to speak first.
I guess
Which-
that's how they come out. I mean, if it's like a singular thing, I think you got to go with Dre or Snoop to get it wrong.
I think
I
we
think so,
can
too.
safely say that there will be less hip shaking than there were 2 years ago.
the Shakira one.
The Shakira J-Lo one that had that one Christian minister so upset he tried to sue the NFL.
He's just upset because he had to sneak off to a private room for a few minutes after watching that.
Winning Gatorade color: orange, lime green, yellow, clear, blue, red, purple.
Orange if it's the Bengals, blue if it's the Rams. Simple.
I'm gonna go lime green. I think lime green's always the go-to bet with these things.
Yeah, the
Lime
classic.
green is the number 2 favorite. Orange is number 1. Purple, red, blue are the ones at the bottom there. For what it's worth, Buccaneers was blue.
Yeah, fuck Tom Brady for doing
Yep.
that to us. There was a
let's
really
see.
good red thing of Gatorade they could have used. It would have matched the team for Pete's sake.
Will the game announcers reference the point spread?
All right.
Well, the game, it's Al Michaels, right?
It is Al Michaels.
Oh, you better
so
believe it. He'll absolutely reference it.
I need to know if it needs to be an explicit mention or an
Right.
implicit mention, because Al Michaels knows what he's doing.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah, like if they do a certain thing and he'll be like, well, that just made a whole lot of people happy. And you'll be like,
Right.
right. You got to know what
Uh-huh,
the betting
uh-huh.
is. Yeah.
which brand will have the first commercial?
Budweiser.
Hmm.
Chevy.
Bud Light.
That's a tough call. I'd have to see who's like
Ford.
Ford.
Doritos.
I know we're also getting the first full Lord of the Rings trailer during the Super Bowl.
Huh.
Well, the great thing about that was they're doing that Lord of the Rings show on Amazon. Jeff Bezos tweeted out his like, I'm excited for this, and
I'm with Gary. I'm going with
people
Pepsi.
piled on.
I'm
Wait,
with
hey,
Gary.
Jeff, aren't you Sauron?
Yeah, no, the people were like, "Aren't you Sauron?" Someone else replied, "I'm not a fan of the Golem redesign."
I'm with Gary on first advertising. I think he's right. It's going to be Pepsi. Pepsi
and then
your best bets.
the last fun question here is: who will the Super Bowl MVP thank first? Team, family, fans, or God?
God.
If there's any justice, he'll thank Snoop Dogg for that fine blunt he had at halftime. But
Well,
that's not
it
gonna happen.
depends on who the MVP is, right?
I think it's going to be the God. God's always the favorite on these.
If it's Stafford's religious, right? Burrow.
Not as much.
Okay, Burrow, it's going to be the team. Jamar Chase,
think-
if he gets it, he could be like, man, me and Snoop, we burnt one at halftime, and fuck, I went off. That's possible.
Yeah.
Highly
I
improbable.
think
but possible.
if it's Stafford, he's a pretty big team guy, but knowing all that he's gone through with his wife and
Yeah.
family and stuff,
Yeah.
maybe the family comes in there.
Aaron Donald,
Anyways.
who's really, I don't know what the odds are for him being MVP, but I'd put some money on it.
If it's Aaron Donald, I'd probably say God.
What are the odds of him being MVP? Do we know?
Let me look.
Because if there's ever a season where it lines up for a defensive lineman to just wreak havoc, it's this game.
Yeah, I mean, if the Bengals O line plays like it did against the
Like the Titans when Burrow got sacked 9 times.
exactly.
If the Titans can do that, what do you think Aaron Donald and that Rams line is going to do to him?
Yeah, I
Playing
mean,
like
Aaron
on the
Donald and Von
punt
Miller.
formation's
and-
got done all day.
All right, so the odds go: Matt Stafford, Joe Burrow, Cooper Kupp,
Yeah.
and then Aaron Donald is plus 1,000.
So that means if I bet $100, I make $1,100.
Yep.
Right. I you know what? I'd put $100 on that. I would.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what
wouldn't doubt it.
Cincinnati can do to figure out how to stop him because you know what? The best offensive lines can't figure out how to stop him. So what are they going to do? I mean, shoot him,
Exactly.
I suppose, before he comes onto the field. That's your best bet. Now, fucking
And if there's one guy on this team, if there's one guy in the Rams that's more motivated than anybody, they've said it out loud and talked about it for several weeks now. This team wants Aaron Donald to win a Super Bowl to cement his legacy as truly one of the great defensive, not even defensive, greatest players that have ever played football. And
Yeah, I think
they want to give him that ring.
that would cement it for sure. But I don't think there's much of an argument, even if he doesn't win it. He's
Right, but
good.
it's one of those things.
Yeah, I get
You
it.
had the ring. You had the ring. Then it's like, what else do you say?
Right.
Oh, he never won. No, he went to 2 Super Bowls and he won.
Well,
And hell, he was MVP.
This whole game really comes down to just that. If Cincinnati can somehow keep Burrow upright, they've got a good shot. If the Rams defensive line does what I think it's going to do, it's going to be a long afternoon for Joe Burrow, and that'll be unfortunate. But that's really what it's going to come down to. Or they're, like I said, they'll start going out of the punt formation shotgun just to try to buy him some time. Other than that, I just don't know. It's gonna be a good game. It's really kind of hard to call. It's not obvious to anybody. You know what's going to happen. So who knows? I'm looking forward to it. God, the uniforms are going to look good. This is perfect. Yeah. I don't care who wins. It looks good. Let's have it.
Oh, the stadium looks good. The field looks nice.
Yeah, everything. Yeah. That stadium's something else.
I take umbrage with the field. They went so basic on the Bengals end zone.
Yeah,
put stripes in there, did you?
Yeah, they need to put stripes in. Come on,
I understand why they bland up the end zones and make them fit the aesthetic of the game and the logo package or whatever. But I also don't know why you don't just take the home teams and like the end zone from their home field and just do it.
I think they want it uniform to a degree, and which
Right, but like there'd be nothing wrong with the Rams end zone looking like the Rams end zone and the Bengals one looking like the Bengals. Like,
I think it'd be cool. Like if you had the home, like your actual, it's like with the turf field, you could do it. Your home end zone, on the field,
which is how Madden used to do it. At least if you played in the Super Bowl, because they just recycled the image files.
Yeah, so that would look nice. But yeah, that stadium that you guys have out there, Zach, is pretty freaking amazing. It's nice.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I wish I was a more well-off person and could actually afford to go.
I was looking. I saw a ticket price chart that went around. I don't know if it's real or not, but it was on Twitter. And like seats were like between $9,000 and the cheapest were like $3,000.
Yeah. No, the cheapest tickets I saw were 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't pay that much to go watch Hedley Lamar's Falcons lose to the Patriots again.
It's wild how expensive the stuff is, and and literally how little like the teams involved actually get.
Oh yeah,
tickets. Like I think each team only gets like 17% of the tickets.
Yeah, well, this is basically the Super Bowl. This is what I'm assuming. It's a big reward for all your corporate sponsors and like the Pepsis, the Budweisers, the big huge corporations that make the thing run, and for executives and all that.
It's just wrong. Yeah, it is.
I agree.
Like sports are for the fans, and this is the only. I mean, I guess aside from maybe the national championship game in college.
Put the rich white guys up in the fucking the luxury boxes and get them the fuck out of the way and let us fans back. It wasn't always like this. It's been I won't say recent like in the last 5 years, but this has evolved over 30 years or so. Because like I told you guys a couple weeks ago, we had a chance to go see the Super Bowl at the Silverdome in 1981, and it wasn't because we couldn't get tickets. It was like I don't want to pay that much to drive to Detroit when it's going to be 4 fucking degrees. and Pontiac was a good Toledo to Detroit proper, like downtown where Joe Louis used to be and Tiger Stadium and all that's 45 minutes. But to get to Pontiac is another hour on top of that. And it's like, nah, and we knew the weather was going to be bad, but it was that easy. And now forget it. You couldn't do that if your life depended on it.
No, I understand that they need to, glad hand the sponsors and all that, but like
yeah, but they have to do that with like everybody that works for the fucking sponsors too.
It shouldn't be the majority of the ticket sales.
Yeah.
Like you should have like a 60-40 split and 60 being for the teams.
Yeah. At least.
Yeah. Minimum. But
well, it is what it is. But I mean, you could go if you want to blow 10 grand, I'm sure.
Sure. Yeah. I'm sure there's ways to get in clearly, but it's not something that that I can do.
those halftime volunteers, but I don't think they get to stay and watch the game. They just go in and they like help set up and tear down, and then like, no, fuck off, get out of here. It's like, no, let them at least stay and watch the game for Pete's sake, you know.
I actually feel bad for like the people that go and work Radio Row for these things for like the week, and it's like, even if you're the radio host, you're there all week, you're in the Super Bowl city, you're talking to Super Bowl people, and then you just go home on Saturday.
Yeah, there are very, very few radio. I mean, I'm sure Jim Rome probably will get to go see the actual game.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of like another sports talk show. Dan Patrick, if he's there, if he wants to.
Yeah.
You know, Simmons will be there, but I think Simmons bought his way in. I don't think he's there because of the Ringer or anything.
No, I think he bought tickets a while ago.
So very few, yeah. Like if we were doing this show on Radio Row, they'd be like, "You guys can get the fuck out of here now." Saturday night, time to go.
I'm curious. I'm just gonna go
on the beef games.
I'm going on StubHub right now just to see if
your best option would be day of game, but you're still going to be paying a lot, and there'll be a lot of people there trying to do the same thing you're doing.
Yeah, no, there was no way in hell that it would ever be worth it. Let's see. Cheapest ticket available on StubHub right now is $47.95.
Wow.
And that's row 19 of the upper deck, which is, I think there's like 24 rows in the upper deck.
Yeah. If I ever hit the lottery, I'll make sure I'll buy us a box at the next Super Bowl. But short of that, it ain't happening.
I mean,
we'll have basically a sports show box. You know what? We're going to rent a fucking chimp to be in that room with us if it ever happens. Us four, our loyal weekly chat listeners will all be there, and a fucking chimp. Bet on it, and just wait and see. That'll be
sirloin.
And sirloin, right?
Sirloin. Yes,
why do they have this fucking bull up in their booth?
All right, let's move towards wrapping it up. Pop culture corner.
Yeah, go ahead,
Mike. Tell us about Moonfall.
Moonfall. Okay, so how many? You guys have seen Independence Day, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Then you know the plot to Moonfall because they basically maybe not the plot, but like the story beats are almost exactly the same.
So there's aliens hiding behind the moon.
Well, here's the thing: the story beats are all the same from Independence Day. Where Moonfall goes completely bonkers is the story or the explanation behind what's going on. So what happens is at the end.
Spoilers for Moonfall.
So the moon like juts out of orbit, and they estimate it has like 3 weeks until it like breaks apart and crashes into the Earth.
Okay.
And so
that's scientifically correct.
I'm sure.
Been vetted.
And so they have Patrick Wilson, who plays this disgraced NASA astronaut. He, Halle Berry, and Sam from Game of Thrones.
Right.
Basically roll the Endeavour space shuttle out of a museum.
That's true. It is in a museum right now.
Which I'm sure it's full of gas and rocket fuel, ready to go.
It's ready to fly immediately, but it is hanging from a ceiling right now.
They get it launch ready in like a day. And not only that, but they explain that it's like, one of the engines isn't functional, but it's okay because we're gonna launch right when the moon is like over us, so the gravity will help. And I'm like,
so you're gonna launch the shuttle when the Earth is already fucked, is what?
Yeah, and basically, and so.
Good.
Basically, so they launch this shuttle up, and then they get into like the shuttle's like hangar bay and get in this special like experimental spacecraft that they use to fly into the moon. And they discover that underneath the rocky surface of the moon is a Dyson sphere containing a white dwarf star.
Oh, well, that's going to be problematic if that thing gets loose.
And then they discover that within this Dyson sphere is a breathable atmosphere.
Oh, good.
And they land
There's a breathable atmosphere around a white dwarf star.
Yeah.
inside the moon. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Zach, I mean, come on, it makes perfect sense.
No, I'm just checking my boxes. I'm just making sure I'm following along.
And so they land and they get out, walk around. Patrick Wilson ends up in this like 2001 A Space Odyssey type room.
Oh, Jesus.
And the supercomputer that runs this Dyson sphere basically beams the plot into his head. The supercomputer on board the Dyson sphere takes the form of his son.
Sure.
Because it's that old trope. I've taken a form that you will recognize.
Which certainly won't creep me out at all.
Yeah. And the computer explains that billions of years ago, humanity's ancestors arose in a distant corner of the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
And they had like the perfect civilization. They'd ended all social strife and wars and had established this utopic galactic society.
Of course.
But it was all governed by an all-knowing AI.
Sure.
AI went all like Terminator Matrix.
I hate when that happens.
Right? Like
it always seems to happen. I don't know why.
As soon as they said that, I'm like, oh, those poor sons of bitches. Why'd you did you learn nothing from the Cylons? Like and so the AI like waged this war of annihilation against humanity, and the last of humanity built a ark into a Dyson sphere around a white dwarf and loaded it up with their genetic information, and this Dyson sphere escaped the robot holocaust until it found Earth and seeded it with life and became the moon.
Okay, so what's the fuck the problem here then? What I don't get it.
The problem is that one of these nanobot AI swarms has found the moon and is purposefully corrupting it so it will careen into Earth and annihilate the last of humanity.
So here's what I've heard in here so far. I've heard a little bit of Star Trek Next Generation.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard some Battlestar Galactica. Yeah, because like the Cylons show up basically then, right?
Well, no. Unfortunately, they're not like the Cylons. They're like these. It's like this swarm of nanobots, which is code for I didn't know what to write, so I put nanobots, so it'll be anything.
Yeah, no, that's a bad trope in recent films. Yeah,
right.
And so it's this giant swarm of nanobots that's basically it's this intelligent swarm of nanobots that is feeding on the white dwarf, so it's destabilizing the moon's orbit. And the goal is that when the moon crashes into Earth, it will destroy the Dyson sphere and annihilate the last of humanity, thereby completing the AI's mission statement. But then Sam from Game of Thrones sacrifices himself with an EMP bomb to destroy the nanobots. And with the nanobots destroyed, the moon is able to course correct and go back into position.
All right, let me ask. I got a couple of scientific questions here. How far out of orbit does the moon get?
It gets to the point where, like, the moon is hovering over the surface of the planet, like crashing into mountains.
So we're already fucked.
The fact that this movie had the gall to say, "Oh," and then the moon went from that to back into its normal orbit, and everyone is fine. It's like, no. If the moon got that close, we're all dead already.
Oh yeah, if it goes like 10 miles closer, we're fucked.
The moon is like crashing into mountains close. That's how close it gets. Yeah.
No. Because here's what I was thinking about this.
Oh, and then there's a scene where the president orders nukes to be fired on the moon. But the one lone military officer like goes rogue and refuses to carry out the orders, so our heroes have time to complete the mission.
I am so eating a couple edibles and watching this movie when it comes. So doing that.
By the way, I'd like to see that guy spin that in his re-election campaign. Now, I know I tried to nuke the moon, America, but 4 more years, right?
Well, first off, you see, I've been thinking about this since I saw the trailer. First off, like we've discussed on the show, if the moon goes 3 miles closer to the Earth, it's going to cause some serious fucking problems.
The moon in this movie is like bearing down on the planet before it gets fixed. Oh, and then on top of that, after Sam from Game of Thrones sacrifices himself with the EMP bomb to kill the nanobots, the movie ends by saying that the computer on board the Dyson Sphere saved his consciousness.
Oh.
And uploaded him to its mainframe, and is going to use his intellect to get humanity ready to take the intergalactic war to the AI on the other side of the galaxy.
Wow, that was a convenient plot. I mean, that really worked out well for everybody, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So we are getting Moonfall 2 then, of course, right?
Oh, this movie straight up is like, yes, sequels. This movie is laying the foundation for sequels where humanity is going to go nanobot.
I love when movies have the hubris to do that.
Yeah. It's like, wow.
It's not going to be Moonfall. It's going to be like Moon Gone to fight other place or something like
that. What if we send the moon away to go fight them?
Moonfall 2, Moon Falling.
Moon Boogaloo. Moon Boogaloo to another galaxy.
Moon 2, Crash Harder.
It just cracks me up because, as we know,
Moonfall with a vengeance.
Those of us that live in the northern hemisphere, or like north of like where it's warm out all the time.
I don't know. Moonfall, Die Another Day.
Yeah. If the planet tilts like 10 degrees, it goes from 85 here to fucking 10 below zero.
No,
the moon can get so close that like it's going to hit a mountain and nothing's going to happen.
Well, I guess in this universe, it sounds like that the Earth was existing just fine, and then the moon was put there.
Yeah, no. The way that they explain it.
So, like, how do I guess our explanation for tides is different?
Well, no, because they do stuff with tides. Like as the moon gets closer to Earth, like the tides do get fucked up.
Yeah, again, if the moon is touching the mountains of the planet, the tides will flood the entire entire side of the globe.
Yes. Like this movie wants it both ways. On one hand, it wants to be like, oh, the moon is out of orbit and catastrophe is therefore happening. But on the other hand, it wants to be like the moon is like it doesn't want to go all the way, because if it was realistic, then like there's no movie, just everyone dies.
Died 10 minutes into it.
It's a Roland Emmerich movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you take any realness out of it right then and there.
Well, the thing about it is, like, this movie has the gall to set up a sequel, and then I did some reading on it, and one of the producers said, yeah, if Roland Emmerich gets his way and gets to do sequels to this, they're going to be even more batshit insane.
Well, just another reason to get high and watch some more, I suppose.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie that I don't want to pay money for, but
no.
I will try to. I hope that it reaches a place where I can watch it for free.
Oh, I'm absolutely watching it the first chance I get.
Yeah.
The first time I saw the trailer, I'm like, what the fuck? You know, like we'd all be dead before this would ever happen. But
yeah, no, it's dumb. It is so.
Do you guys want to, before we go, you want to hear, we'll end the show on this, a fun fact about tides that I bet you didn't know? That's when the tide happens, the water isn't moving, the planet is. The water stays in the same spot the whole time. But
right, I I don't believe for 1 second that anyone involved in this movie bothered to learn that.
Well, I'm not saying it wouldn't mess the tides up. It certainly would, because then you'd have more water. But yeah, I was like, I just read this like a year ago, and I was like, oh, but yeah, the planet basically turns under the water, and the gravitational pull of the moon makes it higher. Like I'm not explaining it well, but if you look it up, it'll make perfect sense. I promise you. So, on that note, I think we should get out of here, guys. We're at 2 hours, and we could do a whole show on Moonfall, I believe.
Basically a Moonfall show. Your podcast dedicated to Moonfall.
Yeah. Mike and I are going to try to do our long-awaited conspiracy show this week, because we've got some good questions that we want.
And you want to know what? Like this movie flat out leans into because Sam from Game of Thrones, his character is basically a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, perfect.
And he's been right the whole time.
I mean, we're not going to get into the lizard people stuff, but there have been some questions out there that we've made. It's been a GTOV entry. The UFOs are real. No one cares. There was a very specific meeting that was had at NASA with 24 theologians that I'd like to get into. So we're going to get into that this week, and it'll be fun. But in the meantime, we will see you all next week. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever fine podcasting is sold. And you can also follow us on Twitter at @TheBasically Sports. With that, we will see you next week. Go Bengals or Rams.
Go Rams.
Go Moon.
Go Moon.
We'll be rocking LA. So let's ram it today. Let's
All right.
ram it.
We'll see y'all next week.
Know how to ram it.